children boogie.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another Backlog Banter movie review. My name is Tucker Aisel, and I'm joined by my Space Cadet co-host, Tanner Dykstra, and today we're here to talk about the latest Pixar outing, finally back in theaters since Toy Story 4, I believe, Lightyear, returning to the Toy Story franchise, but this time in a different light. I have been very excited for this film since I saw the initial teaser trailer, and now we have both seen it. But if you want to talk to us about Lightyear, you can join our Discord. That link is in the top of the description. Also, while you're down there, if you're a fan of Backlog Banter or movies or games, you should subscribe to our channel, like the video, leave a comment, ring the bell. It's awesome. It's great. Fantastic. But Tanner, give me your opening thoughts on Disney Pixar's Lightyear.
Like you said, I was mildly excited for Lightyear, but I think there was this sort of air of, oh, this is some sort of Toy Story cash-in sort of deal. I prefer them to do original stories. That was maybe clouding the underlying knowledge that Pixar rarely fumbles the bag here. And
If ever.
if ever, they have not fumbled the bag with Lightyear. I don't know what I was thinking, frankly. Lightyear is pretty damn good. Pretty to great, I would say.
Yeah.
The animation is obviously fantastic. I mean, that is that doesn't even
Give
need
it
to
at this point.
yeah, it doesn't even need to be said with any new Pixar film. Obviously, they're going to be taking that animation to new heights. But even the story here, they got the patented. We are gonna tug at those goddamn heartstrings with our Pixar humanistic storytelling, and Lightyear has that in spades. So yeah, I'm excited to talk about other elements of this film as well.
Yeah, I really enjoyed Lightyear. I think it kind of flew under the bar that I thought it was kind of aiming for, because when you look at that first initial teaser trailer, it's supposed to be this epic, more serious tone. And I think it goes for that. It's certainly more serious than your average Pixar film or average kids animated film.
Mm-hmm.
But it also is, there's plenty of Pixar humor. It's got this sort of Buzz Lightyear doesn't really understand social cues because he's kind of a serious guy. That's the comedy that they're going for, and I'd say it hits much more than it misses. But sometimes I do feel like the comedy was a little bit out of place. But on the whole, I think this was a really great movie. I think what you mentioned earlier is that this is not a Toy Story cash in or cash grab, because it has nothing to do with Toy Story. It is just using Buzz Lightyear, and he has wings and fights Zurg, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
But otherwise, entirely new cast of characters outside of Buzz Lightyear, entirely new settings, entirely new plot line. It feels like its own thing, and I think that's really cool.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, yeah, outside of a few light references, this is completely divorced from this Toy Story films. Outside of the presence of the character Buzz Lightyear, and of course the opening title scene, which is in 1995. Andy he loved movies and he saw this movie. This is that movie. This is the Buzz Lightyear movie. And something that really struck me while I was watching this film was like, there was a snot-nosed kid sitting behind us that was, yelling and clapping whenever there was a funny joke, mostly when the cat went meow and stuff like that. It was a young kid. But
I had that same group of people as well. It was my friends.
Okay, good. We have our core group of Pixar and Disney films that we're like, oh, these are the best of the best, the creme de la creme, the ones that we have nostalgia for. And this is the first time that I've really recognized that this is a movie that, like, that age of kid is going to have nostalgia for. And I can totally see why. It is. This movie is grand. It tells a really interesting story. It has things to say as well about, like, being weighed down by personal responsibility and guilt, and Buzz Lightyear's obsession with finishing the mission and stuff like that is a great characterization for him. So I could definitely see this having the iconic status that a Toy Story,
Finding Nemo, Ratatouille, WALL-E, all these movies.
Yes.
But I absolutely agree with you. I think the cast of characters, supporting characters, and world that Lightyear creates is what instantly drew me to it. Not further than Toy Story, because I have such a personal nostalgia for Toy Story. The inventiveness of those characters and the world that they live in has always resonated with me. But I also like space adventures, and creating a world in which all the characters that you see are forced to live on a hostile planet, and you're really, for the first third of the movie, you're really just tied down to Buzz Lightyear and his lone wolf mission. And breaking out of that shell and connecting him to the junior cadets of Izzy and Mo and the old lady and Socks, I think is a really compelling way to sort of introduce you to a very small cast of characters. So the story ends up feeling rather personal and small scale, even if it is trying to save like thousands of people's lives.
This film is very personal, even though we know it takes place in the far-flung future on an alien world, and
Yeah.
over the course of decades, as
Yes.
we come to find out. And there is a spoiler twist here that we'll save
There
towards
is.
the end. To save that, if you haven't seen the film, we talked about the snot-nosed kids or our snot-nosed friends really enjoying the cat when the cat went meow. I enjoyed that too. I think Socks is a really fun sidekick character.
Absolutely.
My girlfriend and I went and saw it. We did not see it with Tucker and our snot-nosed friends, but what we got, the biggest laugh we got was when he shoots the dart
Out of his mouth the first time?
God,
Absolutely. We
that
all
was
thought that was hilarious too.
It was so funny,
And there's a number of those moments. I do think
Mhm.
that Socks is a great foil for Buzz because Buzz is very serious, but Socks is also very serious. He's
Mhm.
very dry because he's a robot, he's an AI,
Mhm.
whatever. But he also has a lot of personality in his blank stares and robotic movements. But he's also fuzzy and he's cuddly and
Mhm.
he has his little quips. And his humor worked more often than not, way more often than not for me. I think he's probably the funniest character in the film. Sometimes I was like, oh, Buzz, stop trying. Like you not understanding what someone else is saying is not like as funny as I think they want it to be for me.
Mhm.
And some of the other characters I felt a little bit about that with, but Socks was great for the comedy, and I think all around the characters were pretty good for the drama. I think that the idea of using time, like you said, with
Mhm.
Buzz skipping decades and sort of that being a dedication to his mission that he's missing life, and that ends up becoming the theme. Like he
Mhm.
has been so focused that he hasn't been given a chance to recognize the good in other people, in just settling down and enjoying life, and like that's a really compelling theme for Buzz Lightyear, and all the other characters I think support that in different ways.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think Chris Evans is very good as Buzz
Yeah.
Lightyear. I was a little concerned about like because Pixar does this a little bit, but they don't go full fledged like a Sony animation does into celebrity stunt casting to get people in the door to see
Yeah.
your animated movie. So I was a little apprehensive about Chris Evans, even though I love Chris Evans.
I thought Chris Evans was good. I thought he was serviceable. I certainly started enjoying his performance as the film went on, and we started learning more about Buzz's personality and the character motivations that he has. I kept hearing Chris Evans, and I know he's not exactly a voice actor, so that kind of drew me out of it occasionally. But on the whole, it really wasn't a problem.
See, I had the opposite experience. I kept forgetting that it was Chris Evans, and every so often I was like, "Oh yeah, this is Chris Evans. That's fun."
Yeah.
So I mean, maybe in those parts it pulled you out, but I was like, "Oh, that's fun. Chris Evans is doing a great job." That's just kind of the
Sure.
reminder that was running through my head. But what else? Oh, Kiki Palmer also does a great
Yeah.
job as Izzy Hawthorne. She is, she's fun, she's spunky, and she has this sort of this fear that gets brought about later in the film that she has to overcome, obviously, in a pretty good scene. I like the scene where
Yeah.
this isn't much of a spoiler, but where she has to do the spacewalk essentially, and she casts herself over, and then the spaceship starts to move, and she's freaking out, and she has astrophobia, and in that moment they do a great job of like putting the audience in the seat of having that astrophobia a little bit when the camera goes down and then it pans all the way up and it's just the same black starry nothingness in every direction. So that's a very well done scene and a very good character moment for her as well.
Yeah, I think the film does work, and it is unique for Pixar and these kind of kids animated movies in those epic moments. It's watching the ship go to hyperdrive and then slow down to these discs, or seeing the vast vistas of this alien planet that make this feel very unique. And even in those grand moments, there isn't a ton going on. This is a very focused story. It is Buzz, it is his small cast of supporting characters. We have this mission, boom, 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 and I found I found a lot of intrigue in that simplicity because I always expected it to have these side stories or something else going on, but no, this is a very focused film, and I think it's all the better for it.
Yeah, there really is no B plot. It's very much
No.
we have a goal, and there are obstacles that keep cropping up on our journey to reach this goal. And that's that it's a kids film, but maybe more than any other kids film I've watched recently, this is one where I'm like, oh, this feels like a kids film plot. It felt like just a space adventure plot, but very pared down, very simple. And this is a tight hour 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And it flies by pretty quick. Tucker, what are you going to give this film? I'm going to let you go first.
I think I'm going to give this film an 8 out of 10. the more that I think about it, I don't really think there are many flaws that I have with this film. I just think it didn't like hit me super personally, so I can't like justify a 9 out of 10 or 10 out of 10 because it didn't really feel like it was doing something incredibly new. Though I recognize that it is different for Pixar, taking a slightly more serious and epic tone. And in that, I think it works very well. And honestly, I'm interested to see it again. I foresee it being a film that I revisit every few years to sort of just see what else I can glean. And I like watching Pixar films, but this is a great addition to the Pixar canon.
I agree. I am going to give this film an 8 out of 10 as well. I was waffling between a 7 and an 8, but I think I'm going to land on an 8. For all the reasons you said, Tucker. I can definitely see this being adopted into modern Pixar canon, as well as, the grand, what is it, since 1995 year history of, starting with Toy Story, and now our most recent one is Lightyear. But there are ratings. If you're even slightly interested in it, I would say go see it. It's worth it, for sure.
It's the new Pixar movie. Everyone's going to see it.
Everyone's going to see it. But Tucker, shall we talk about the spoilery thing, which I did not see coming at all, which is quite surprising to me, which is, final spoiler warning here, that Zurg, the villain of the story, is older Buzz, which is quite interesting as a late in the game sort of like twist on the theme of this film, which is, this is a Buzz who has been, for lack of a better word, completely corrupted by his dogged mission to finish the mission. And, he will do anything at any cost, and he is completely divorced from, the lives of the people that he is supposedly trying to save. Their lives that have now existed for decades and decades. He completely forgets that because it is his journey to finish the mission.
Yeah, no, I really like the way that the villain of the story was very simple for most of the film, and we're like, robots have shown up, blow up the ship. What's going on? What's the lore behind this? Why are they here? But that twist, you can poke a few timey-wimey plot holes and you're like, how the fuck did this actually happen?
How did that happen is the question I had walking out.
But on the whole, I don't think it necessarily matters because it was a genuinely compelling, out of nowhere plot twist. We're like, oh, this makes Zurg a much more interesting character. This helps our main character's journey to self-introspection and connecting with others, and learning the value of teamwork. And so I thought that was what pushed this film to be more interesting than just that simple space plot that you were talking about. That for the majority of the movie is just that, but getting the Zurg reveal and then also having Izzy face her fear near the end, I think both of those bring together this film in a really compelling way that does give it a little bit of depth.
Yeah, I agree. This film is, quite deep if we're going to do some closing thoughts here. I mean, the whole sequence of him doing the space mission, doing the space mission, doing the space mission, and coming back, and, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years have passed in these people's lives, and Alicia, she gets married and she has a kid and she has her 40th anniversary party, and then she passes away, all while Buzz stays the same age, and we spend only seconds seeing these things, just like he is, essentially. It is a really powerful way to convey that he's letting the experiences and these life moments from the people that he loves fly by in this pursuit of finishing the mission. I think that's really interesting.
And I think it's good that they don't stray away from the idea that what he's doing is very focused for him, but also there is sort of a hiding from trauma. He's using this focus to ignore his disconnect from other people. And Socks is a great look into that, as he is intended as a therapy robot for Buzz, and is always like, hey, are you okay? Do you want to talk about this? And that, I think, works like cyclically of, okay, Socks is a funny character. I like their bond, but also he's there for support. And then watching Buzz sort of push away that support, but then learn to accept it. Like, it is an actually compelling character arc and situations they're put in. And it feels very grounded and real in terms of therapy and not necessarily grief, but disconnect and things like that.
Yeah, I agree. And it's there from the very beginning. One of the first lines that Buzz has is Buzz Lightyear doesn't ask for help.
Yeah.
And you should ask for help. Reach out to your friends, talk with your friends, things like that. I think we should end all these movie reviews on a little bit of life advice, Tucker. What do you think?
Yeah. Oh gosh, we'll have to come up with a list so we can each week.
Yeah. What was the life advice?
What are we gonna do for Minions Life Rise of Gru?
Don't make another Minions film. That's the life advice for the people over at Illumination.
Yep.
But nonetheless, Tucker, we will be reviewing that film, won't we?
Oh God, won't we?
Yes. That one, and many more probably better films.
Yeah.
Especially quite a few coming up. But we'll see you then.